Welcome to Stealth Artisan Live. I'm ASHLER. We're going to continue from this position. I think we're trying to deal with correcting
To prevent the force supplier
Connie's.
from pushing Connie off the platforms,
Yep,
we're going to use
that.
labels. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip. Open the timeline canvas with L1 and X. Now tweak the force supplier with L1 and square. Labels can be given to any object in the scene, and gadgets like the force supplier can detect them. In the force supplier tweak menu, go to the Labels tab. By default, it will detect all labels. There are labels for all sorts of objects: foes, scenery, targets. The friend label is used for playable characters like Connie or friendly characters like Cuthbert. So if we deselect it, the force supplier will no longer affect Connie. Hover over the friend button and press X to deselect it. It's the button with the heart icon. Now Connie should be able to blast through the blocks without firing herself off into space. Use her new skills to pass all the obstacles. And you can use your new skills to create some characters for your scenes.
Okay.
Now Connie should be able to blast through the blocks without firing herself off into space.
So what I should do?
The friend label is used for playable characters like Connie or friendly characters like Cuthbert.
Oh,
So if we
okay.
deselect it, the force supplier will no longer affect Connie. Hover over the friend button and press X to deselect it.
Let's
It's
see.
the button with the heart icon. Now Connie should be able to blast through the blocks without firing herself off into space. Use her new skills to pass all the obstacles. And you can use your new skills to create some characters for your scenes.
Alright.
When you've successfully rescued Cuthbert, go through the door to finish this tutorial.
Oh wow. Why did that happen? Did it just accidentally just tap it? That's weird. But that's still affecting him. What the hell? Battery full. Let's see here, continue. Um, Center, continue. Alright. We'll see how far we get in
Hi,
this.
I'm Mark, Creative Director of Media Molecule, and I'm going to present a simple masterclass that will hopefully help you use some of what so far and turn that into an entire game. I'm going to be focusing on a remix of the Dreamiverse Dash game. That means take a copy of something, mess around with it, which is always a really good way to learn. I will be reiterating some of the basics that you may have already learnt, but basics make for strong foundations, and strong foundations make for strong structures. Yes. So, first of all, try playing the game, get familiar with it, and when you get past the finish line, you'll dive in and start tinkering.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this right now. Sounds cool. I want to play it, but I don't know if I want to. Is that a coin? Okay. That's the first thing I was curious about, if this was actually doing something with keeping me controlling going, but it's not. Those are cool. I think a double jump in this would be nice. That's the first thing that I'd do. Oh, whoa. Oh, it's a power up. Yeah, nice guys, good job. Okay, so I lost that power up. That's like a possibly a dash power up of some sort. Oh dear. Oh. Oh. Possibly extra life, maybe. That's what that is. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Well, let's just listen. Don't know if I'll actually execute it, but we'll see what he has to say.
Okay, let's start by making sure we feel comfortable navigating the space. So here's a quick reminder of how we do this. If you feel you're already a master at camera controls, then you can skip this step. Use the left stick to move forwards, backwards, left or right. Use the right stick to look in a different direction. If I hold down L1, I can now use the left stick to move up and down instead of forward and backward. We use the L1 button a lot to alter the functionality of other buttons, much like a shift key on a computer keyboard. So, if you ever hear me accidentally say shift, you'll know I mean L1. This level is pretty large, and it's pretty slow using this method if you want to get to the other side of the track, for example. So let's remind ourselves of some quicker ways of moving around. If I position my imp tip over a place I want to go, I can hold down L1 and tap R1. This will zip us there in an instant.
Oh my god, I'm lost.
Finally, another useful method is to position your imp tip over a place you want to go to, just like before, except this time hold R1, which will lock your imp onto whatever you are hovering over. You can now use the left stick to zoom in and out and the right stick to orbit around the point you grabbed. Using this method, you can also use the motion sensor in your controller by physically moving the whole thing to orbit around the point you grabbed. This is a very nice method once you get used to it. Have a go.
Oh,
It's worth spending time with these techniques until you feel comfortable moving around. When you feel you're getting the hang of it, click the big arrow and we'll do the next step. Okay, you should be confident about moving around with camera controls now, so let's start changing the actual scene. Before we do that though, you may have noticed lots of these little bright cubes scattered around. These are gadgets. We don't need to see them for now, so let's hide them. Go to the menu, find the Show Hide button, and make sure electronics are turned off. That'll make things a bit clearer.
Which one
Okay,
is electronics?
let's start changing the track layout. That'll make things a bit clearer. Go to the menu, find the Show Hide button, and make sure electronics are turned off.
Okay.
That'll make things a bit clearer.
That's
Okay,
nice
let's start
asset.
changing the track layout. In this step, I'll be talking about deleting, moving, and cloning. If you feel you're already a master of these techniques, then feel free to skip this step. A really easy thing to do is just delete some bits. Position your imp tip over a module. You'll see it highlight to show which thing you're over, and then you can simply press the triangle button to delete it. You'll also find a delete tool in the menu. Remember, use the square button to show or hide the menu. In the tools menu, you'll find the delete tool, but I suggest you try to remember the shortcut buttons. It will make for a far more fluid experience, and this is a masterclass after all. Sometimes you'll notice these little white outlines that remain. These were added as an artistic choice using paint mode after the various track modules were placed. If you want to learn more about painting, then check out the art tutorials. But for now, feel free to just delete them if you wish. It won't affect how the scene plays either way. And remember, you can use the left and right directional buttons to undo or redo your actions. We can also really easily move any of the pieces in the scene. Move is the default tool for the imp in edit mode. You'll know the imp has this tool equipped by the icon on its tip. You should see these 4 arrows. If you see something else, then you have another tool equipped, but you can easily lose it by pressing the circle button to get back to the move tool. So, to move something, position the imp tip over the bit you want to move, then press and hold R2 to grab it. Now you can move it. Note that you can still use the sticks to navigate the scene while holding an object. You can also select a bunch of things using the X button, and then move or delete them all at the same time. Just press X on each bit you want to select, or hold down X and swipe over all the bits you want to select. Press the circle button to unselect everything you've selected. Cloning things in the scene is a quick and easy way to start adding things. To do this, simply hold down L1. Remember, we treat L1 like a shift key on a computer keyboard. Then grab using R2 as before and move it. This will make a copy. To try out any of the changes you make, press the Options button to bring up the Options menu and select the Play Mode icon. Then we can test what we've just done. Press the Options button again and select Edit Mode to go back and make more changes. When coming back into Edit Mode from testing your scene, you can choose to rewind time so that everything is back in its starting state and the character is back in the starting position. So just press this button in the menu or use the L3 button for a shortcut. But you don't have to rewind time when you come back into Edit Mode. Sometimes it's useful to make modifications as you go along, switch back into Play Mode and carry on from where you left off. I suggest you have a little practice. Modify the scene a bit, move some things, copy some things, clone some things. And when you feel confident, we'll go on to the next step.
Oh, I'm going faster is what that does. Oh dear. Alright. I think they want you to maybe okay. Alright, I'm going to end this stream. We'll call it there for right now. We'll try to miss, I think, some more later down the road with this. And I think I may be goofing off in the creative thing off stream for a little bit and then come back and then maybe do some show and tell. Okay. Well, that was me. This was Stealth Artisan Live as we return to the shadows. So that's all praise the moments we share. Till next time.